So welcome to the revision part. This is where things get slightly more serious. So when good news is of the September colleagues who were there before you, all six passed. So that's the good news. so,
No
the
pressure.
practitioner is touch and go. So it's practitioner is touch and go. I think underlined the statement because there are many moving parts, and not even one person had a good experience with the APMG's portal. They all had issues with the questions, some crashed in between. So, it just tests your resilience. So be prepared without even starting test, because we are going to be up against a system that was built in the 1980s or something like that. So it's just there. So I just want you to land that. So that's why the revision program or the program is structured in a way that we incrementally add what's in our control, and then we are going to find ways to mitigate things that are outside our control. Then it's all about how we are going to tackle the exam on the day. So today I just want to say let's look at the practitioner syllabus, because what we had before was the reason I asked you to have a look at the practice area. Is one of the things that's in our control is the practitioner content or the core syllabus. The syllabus is in our control, but you can clearly see, I'm just going to, you should have this part of your practitioner homepage in APMP, Baachu Scribble APMP homepage. When you enter, there is a video. Underneath, you will have a syllabus. But if it's not, I'll send it to you. So you're going to find the syllabus area, how it's going to map. Our first 4 weeks is for us to complete the syllabus area. And the syllabus area on APMP syllabus. So we are just getting back into the APMP's world of what best practices, what do they think, so and so. And the reason this page or this sheet that I'm sharing is important is it's just going to tell you which part of the syllabus is coming when. Because many of the chapters are will be on many places. So some chapters will be on just one part of the syllabus area, but some chapters will be on a different part of the syllabus area as well. So it will be coming on few more parts of the syllabus rather than just one area. As you know, we have 4 different parts. One is what we call research and management. Then we have planning and so research, then we have planning and management, then we have behavior and attitude, and so on. So the hardest part, for some reason, where everybody, we have close to 30 odd people who have done practitioner with us from July, August, September, and now with October, if you add another 12 in October. So everybody, for some reason, find the behavior and attitude part of the syllabus hard. So there will be some areas where you will find it easy, and there will be some areas you will find it hard. But in general, the behavior and attitude part of the syllabus, everybody used to miss the marks. And even if you put all the effort, for some reason, I say that to every cohort, and even if they put all the effort, that part, they tend to miss a lot of mark. So you can plan it on 2 ways. Focus more on the other syllabus areas so that you score more on those areas, and focus to do your best on this area. So if you want, next week, I'll bring in some of our guests. I'll bring in few guests who have taken the exam before, so that you could get their view of what went well, what you need to prepare straight from their, say it from their mind, so that you could also get from them rather than me talking about it. So every chapter is, every syllabus area is different, and plan it accordingly. And there will be some quick wins for you. You might get really good in some chapters, you might not get really good in some chapters, but either way, collectively it's 40 marks. And we will go back to how is individual syllabus areas are examined. But for now, keep that in mind, because this is entirely in our control. Use our study guide and familiarize yourself as much as you can. Hi, Cynthia, welcome. So that's one. And I'm going to send you this so that you can use the study guide and scribble all across based on what chapters area, what comes up, etc. Yeah, so you will be totally familiar with that. So I'll just stop that share, and I'm going to send you this one anyway. It should be there in the home page, but just in case, I'm going to send you all this one. So the next one, which I'll be sharing here is this is the reason why it's important to know the syllabus. And the next one is, let's go slightly into the actual part of the syllabus. So we have share, here we go. So what we have here is the exam structure, right? We touched it loosely, but let's reconvene, let's reintroduce the same thing again. Again, I will send this out to you on an email because some of the materials I cannot explicitly put outside. So I'm going to send you gradually so that you're not overwhelmed with the content as well. So you have the study guide. Please to complete all the 48 modules. And if you haven't, please to complete. And also the second one is, you have the study guide, videos completed. The next one is study guide, and then have the study guide with you and use the syllabus areas to see how you can go for it. If you know why the alarm is going in the back, London terror threat is now what, high? And there are people going around everywhere. In the place where I lived, somebody was stopped yesterday with some knife or something. So there are crazy people everywhere. And if you are listening to this recording, stay safe and stay healthy as well. So it's weird. So what we have here is going back to exam structure. You're going to be given a scenario booklet. We are going to touch all these things today. So you're going to be given a scenario booklet. We are going to give a question booklet, and we are going to give an answer booklet. That's the exam part. We'll come to that. But be absolutely comfortable in the what part of the exam, how the whole thing is going to be structured, because we are going to go to pass the paper, and the practitioner, you need to have all the tricks in your place. As I mentioned, you are going to score 30 marks quite comfortably, but to get that additional 10 marks is the challenging part. And that's where many people flip. And we are going to add that 1 mark, 2 mark here and there. We're going to find that 1 mark, 2 mark here and there, and that's spread across everywhere. It's like a treasure hunt. So, and that's what we'll be pretty much separating gradually now. So the questions here. Yeah. So this is the very first thing that I want to share that with you. I think I covered it before, but let me go back again. We last spoke like 4 weeks ago. When you have the syllabus area from me, and you have the study guide next to you, this is what I would like you to do. Write on top of it the marks. This particular chapter, information, research, management, sales, orientation, 12 marks. The next one, planning and management. That will be a question 2 and 3. Question 2 and 3 set of questions, 28 marks. Development, 28 marks. Behavior and attitude, 12 marks. I'm going to tell you what will happen to you. Information, research, and management, from the exam perspective, you need to score 6 out of 12, right, to pass the paper. You're going to score either 6 or you're going to score above 6. So that one, you're going to score well. I'm just assuming because that's from the current, the 30 odd people who have taken, that's the response from them. You are going to score 6 or above from that. So how can you do more on that? Minimum 6 or above, but you're going to go 6 on that. That's going to be, I won't say easy, but it will be fairly okay. Push it through. Planning and management, that 14 marks, even though it sounds simple, that planning and management, you are going to struggle to score above 8. If you're not prepared. This is where this exam, we need to respect. We need to give enough respect to this exam. And so where you are now, you are scored 6 marks, and now you are scored somewhere between 8 and 10. Right? Which means you need to find the additional 4 marks on planning and management to pass the paper. And development, this is where you will be scoring above, close to 12, 14, 16. You'll be scoring slightly higher. So between planning and management and development, you will try to neutralize the mark. One goes down, one goes up. From the experience, from the information from people, normally information, research, and management, they score high, up to 8 marks. Then you have planning and management where you might dip out. A little bit more, you might score 10 or 12, but you'll be trying to catch up that on development. But the point here where most people fail is getting that 6 mark out of behavior and attitude is hard for some reason. I don't know why, because behavior and attitude as it is very subjective. What you as a best practice proposal manager perceive as the right thing to do, not necessarily is what APMP would consider it as the right thing to do. So it becomes very subjective there. So your challenge is, at the very minimum, you need to aim to score 4 to 6 marks there. But how am I going to catch up on the other area so that I comfortably pass? Remember, you won't be getting how much you scored, 45 or 50, or we are not going to get 70 or 70 out of 80. All we need is 40. So battle yourself carefully here. Mark 12 marks in the study guide, mark 28 marks in the planning and management in the content page where you are, and try to improve your syllabus, right? This is one part. So we are going to, so if you focus on that incrementally, you are going to move from 30 to 34 or 35, because you are now slightly more focused on what your plus and minus, and you're going to focus on that. The next one, which we'll be covering later today, is going to be on the types of questions. A, we have control of the syllabus. Second, we should be absolutely comfortable with the question types. But even when we are comfortable with the question type, some of the matching questions and assertion questions especially will be confusing on the exam. So what that meant is, the syllabus and but in the question types, you might be missing few marks. Again, we will come back and see how we can mitigate this as well. So this is going to be new for us today. Syllabus we already covered. So we are just going to add a little bit more on that. And the next one is this one. So how are we going to add on the question type? We are going to have the classic is very simple. In the question, pick up 1 answer. Multiple response, pick up 2 response. Fairly simple. Matching is also fairly simple. They'll be giving you a line that says, the proposal manager is working on competitive, is trying to find ways to mitigate competition or something. Then on the other side, you'll be having words like opportunity identification, black hat review, ghosting. You'll have. So the answer is, okay, he's going to simulate what the competitor is going to do. So the matching part is ghosting, right? So that's the matching part. What's written on the left side to what written on the other side. The sequence matching is like, if this is what I'm going to do first, what should I do next? Right? So again, in your mind, you might be doing it differently because you might be multitasking. This is where your sequential brain needs to kick in. This is where we'll be starting to lose marks, not because we are not good. It's because it's the way we approach things. We have been doing it for a long time, right? So that's why people with 3 years experience tend to pass the exam quickly, and people with 15 years experience or 20 years experience tend to overthink because this is what I've always been done. And it worked for me. Why? It's because don't second guess, this is the syllabus. So that's sequence matching. Assertion questions, you're going to work through that. Okay. So our aim again in the exam, again, we are going to pick the battle carefully. We just need to score as many marks in classic, 1 question, and as many marks in multiple response, and as many marks in matching. And I will tell you how the individual splits are. And we can look into that. Let me go back and see. Here we go. So the classic matching sequence questions, the very basic type, we are going to be given 40 to 50. Right? You can score half of the syllabus that's going to come. It will be from 40 questions. Not half of the syllabus. Half of the question types will be on classic, which is straightforward, matching, and sequence matching. So we should be absolutely comfortable in that. Unfortunately, if the classic is easy, but if most of the behavior and attitude questions are in classic, then you are missing mark there, right? And most of the assertion questions, our best case scenario is the assertion questions should be coming in behavior and attitudes. You're going to lose marks anyway. Let it be on the assertion questions in behavior and attitude. We just have to be at the mercy of the God to just say, okay, let most of the simple question come in the syllabus, what I know. The question bank has already been set out. So Again, when you're planning it, take a piece of paper and then write down. I'm going to add this part of the email as well, which is like the classic matching is 40 to 50 questions. So I am going to prepare myself absolutely to nail this, because the moment you read the question, you should know that's a classic question. C, bingo, I'm going to nail it. That's a matching question. What you shouldn't be doing is, let me read it. What does the question asking me to do? After 1 minute, you realize, that's an assertion question. You should be able to spot what the question type in the quickest possible time. So that will be the biggest thing for today, from this week to next week. So I'm going to send you a sample paper after this. And we are going to do 5 or 6 sample questions later. And then we'll be just doing more of that. So you're just getting used to that. So question types, the second part, we'll be adding it. And we already know that some of the stuff that we need to look into that is also related to scenario and then who are the players in the scenario. So we're also going to look into the scenario in the next 10 minutes and we are going to bring it all together, syllabus area, question type, everything together. So this one, mark yourself, which means, as I mentioned, you need to know the what of. It's going to be 6 questions. 6 questions is like every syllabus area will have 6 questions underneath. And some have 1 mark, some have 2 marks. Unfortunately, if you get 1 question right and 1 question wrong in a matching question, or 1 question right and 1 question wrong in a multiple choice, you lose both marks. So, and that's the annoying part, which meant you could have scored 50 out of 80, but just because in most of the assertion questions or multiple choice, you got half correct and half wrong, you're again stuck in 35. So it's unfortunate, but that's how things are going to be. So familiarize yourself with this. 6 questions, and each section will have between 12 to 24 marks as we looked into the syllabus area. And the question type also splits up, which means you need to plan your strategy here. Assume this is a war, which means which one is an easy battle, which one is a tough battle, which is going to be my strengths, which is not going to be my strengths in the syllabus area and also on the question type. That it's entirely upon your personality. For some people, they thoroughly enjoy the analytical mind of assertion part. Some people, they are like, it's too much. Remember, if it's a paper-based exam, it's good. But unfortunately, when you're putting on the screen, it's a very different experience altogether. For many of you might not have done an online exam for a long time. That adds pressure to it as well. So I want you to be absolutely comfortable with it, because it's an open book exam, which means the body of knowledge is only thing available, but that's complete waste for this particular exam. It's only it's an intensive exam. So assume this is a closed book exam. Don't even think it's an open book exam. And you cannot have any papers in your desks as well. So the reason I'm asking you to mark it up, scan it, is it needs to be inside your brain. This question type is this syllabus area is this. I know this scenario, and this is the difference between the scenario I learned and the scenario that's coming in the exam. It should be all here. So you just need to find the differences and the similarities, and you need to approach the exam. So I'm going to send this to you, but the important point here is question type. So I'm going to open up now. It's a question in the chat box. We are going to find the answer. Don't worry, there is not a right or wrong answer. Let's just go with that. So I'm going to read this. I'm sure you can see my screen. Using the information provided below, answer the following questions about the development of the big plan. Key program events, so and so. Which is an appropriate assertion about the schedule? Proposed development, so and so. 4.9 days, 10%, so and so. So again, in your mind, what do you think is the right answer? Put it on the chat box. So A, you need to know about the schedule. You need to know what's in the schedule, chapter. Secondly, looking at the question, it's a single response question, so you need to pick up one answer. But obviously, they are confusing you with the statement assertion. It's a single response. So what do you think should be the answer? Again, I'm not going to say the answer, but I just want you to experience the answer. That's it. Oh yeah, please do, please do. Yeah, by now, if you haven't made up your mind, if I were you, I will pick a response and I'll just move on. And to be honest, I don't know the answer for this question. So the moment I see a question like this, I wouldn't be spending much time, because the reason for this, they are deliberately trying to waste your time, because you don't have a calculator next to you, and you don't know, there is not much details around the schedule or anything here. It's all like up in the air. So what happens here is you're going to spend some time on identifying. So what I suggest is, unfortunately, it's a single response question, which should be easy, but it's quite hard, right? Again, people who have chosen B or A or anything, good. I'm not going to say what's the right answer is, because I'm sure at the end of it you'll know, but this is how it will be in the exam. So you need to know the question type, you need to know the syllabus area, which is schedule, apply that to the scenario. So here the application part flipped for us, because there is not much information available, but if this is the information that's been given, how are we going to make the decision? So most of you chose B, which is good. The next one is multiple choice. Using the scenario, CSS proposal team, I will come back to the scenario in a separate sheet, but for now, assume you know what the scenario is, and then go to select 2 answers to the question. Team members will be drawn from CSS Global Network of Offices and WTC. Just for your information, CSS and WTC are companies who are bidding for a particular tender, and this scenario is talking about this. Good. So what happens here is it's a multiple choice exam, and you know what? Sometimes we forget to pick up 2 answers. You would assume that the APMG tool is smart enough to tell you, hey, you need to pick 2 answers. You picked only 1, right? It won't. So you might have picked 1 answer and you moved on, and because you haven't picked the second answer, you are losing mark here. Yes, so you know, just be slightly careful on that. But again, good. I think B and D is I think the right answer. But it's okay. We all are going through here. The next one is matching. As we talked about here, there is an information on column 1, and you just need to connect it to column 2.
Can you scroll up a bit so we can see the top part of the question?
Sorry, yeah.
Thank you.
So your response at the bottom will be 1A, 2C, 3D, 4E, something like that. So you just need to pick what equates to what.
It's interesting because there's 5 in column 2 and 4 in column 1.
Yes, that's it.
That's
So you need to let go 2 in column 2. Yes.
or 6, sorry. That's a little confusing.
Welcome to the practitioner certification exam.
But I also thought you could use them more than once. Is that not true?
Not on this. Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
But, each selection from column 2 can be used once, more than once, or not at all. It's there.
Yeah.
It's there. So, so what happens here is you need to know the syllabus area, and you need to know the question type, and most importantly, you need to read the question properly. So, well spotted there, Cynthia. Right, I'll just give you another 30 seconds or something. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay. Ooh. Right. Just pick what you believe is the answer. Again, as I mentioned, the options will be given down, or you might need to match it up. But interestingly, in our current cohort, everybody has a different answer for this question. It just tells you, you know, if we are, and this is how we are going to incrementally add. So that's good. I know once we do more sample papers, you will understand. Let's move to the
Sorry,
next.
real quick. This is one where we get a point for each correct?
Correct.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good
You
news.
still get 1 mark. Yeah, good one, Tara. No panic there. So matching is the same, but you are just going to order them. Which one comes first? Which one comes second? Which one comes third? It won't be as straightforward as this 1, 2, 3. Like in the column 2, they'll be just giving you some other activity. So in your mind, this is where it gets slightly tricky. What APMP sees as a sequence of events that you need to do as a proposal, bid and proposal colleague is very different to what you might have done. But in this particular question, it's fairly straightforward. Read the question and see what could be 1, what could be 2, what could be 3 in sequence. Ooh, interesting. Good. Right. This is sequence matching. And the final one is the assertion one. This is where most people tend to struggle a bit. And I would like you to focus a little bit here. What it says is you are given 2 statements. And first of all, first you need to read them both on an isolated way. Don't compare both. First one is, it is appropriate that the exec summary was drafted by the CSS account manager. I don't know, assume the scenario is, using the scenario, answer the following about executive summary. That's a syllabus area created by CSS. That's from the scenario for the APMP event management. That's from the scenario. So we know the syllabus area is executive summary, and we know it's an assertion statement, and read this carefully. When I read it for the very first time, this is where people who don't practice the question thing tend to get confused with option A and B, because both are true. You need to read the first step in assertion is read the first column and read the reason column. First one, it is appropriate that the exec summary was drafted by the CSS account manager. According to APMP, that's correct. It shouldn't be written by it should not be written by the proposal manager. An exec summary should demonstrate understanding of a customer's motivation and vision for a bid. Could be right, yes. Then you look at the next one. So in my opinion, first one is true and true. Then you look at the next one. Your
Wait a
first,
second. That the executive summary is drafted by the account manager?
yeah.
Really? Okay. I mean, that's not my world. For us, it's not separate roles. I thought that was the proposal manager.
No.
Interesting. Okay.
If you read the APMP syllabus area, you will find exec summary should be written by the deal lead or the sales lead or what they call the capture or an opportunity lead.
So Silky, that's
I
how.
think in practice, though, they're not writers. So you tend to interview them for the themes and you write it. So they develop the content or the ideas behind it, but your proposal manager is actually the one who writes it. So that's why this is confusing. But it is the proposal manager or the account manager to do it.
Yeah,
So-
but that's where you need to answer it as per APMP, not per your practice that you actually follow.
So I think I mentioned to you guys, I took this over the summer and did not pass it by 2 points. 2 points. So that's why I'm here in class. But that's what I kept getting tripped up on too, because I'm like, they aren't writers. I hate that our company tries to make the salespeople do it and they're terrible at it. And I end up having to redo it anyways. So again, it's like, yeah, I guess technically my company follows the APMP in that one area, pretty much the only area. But you have to like take your brain out of it. And that's why he was saying that like people who are only doing this for 3 years often pass, and I've been doing it for 10 and I failed. So it sucks.
At our company, salespeople wouldn't dream of writing the executive summary.
Yeah, they don't want to, but we're supposed to ask them to. And it's just a giant waste of everyone's time. They don't want to do it. They're terrible at it. I end up redoing it anyways. So I'm making a push to try and take it back. But technically, it's like they have the relationship. Yeah.
Yes. So what I'm getting out of this is most of you would be losing 2 marks in this question. Yeah.
It's gonna retrain our brains to get through the test, guys.
So please focus on passing the exam, right? Everybody wants to rewrite APMP's body of knowledge and syllabus, but you cannot. Unfortunately, you cannot. So this is where it gets tricky. You know, that's what I'm telling you. There is marks here and there. Getting to 30 to 40, it's about incremental. You're going to find it here and there, and that's how we are going to get it. You know, I've been telling again and again because that's how it works. Nobody takes and passes the exam comfortably. You know, so it's fine. So the assertion, simply, you read the first one, send it's true, and you read the next column, it's true. Now you have a process of elimination that tells you, okay, I think it's true and true. But now let me go and reread the question again that said, if both are true, and if one is true, and because of that 2 is true, the column is true, then your answer is A. It is appropriate that the executive summary was drafted by the CSS account manager. Now you read, an exec summary should demonstrate understanding of customers' motivation, vision, and for a bid. So you just have to connect it. Okay, who understands about customers' motivation, vision for a bid? The salesperson understands. So, oh, that's the reason he should write it. So the option should be A, right? Or you could see, I don't know. I think it doesn't make sense to me. The reason doesn't make sense to me. So the answer is B, which is false. So it's slightly tricky, but that's where assertion question comes up. It could be very easy for you to do, but it could be very hard for you to do. But it's a mixed feeling, that one. And now you've got feel for the questions. In general, you will have 2.5 hours and you're going to play with it. Again, let me go back before we take the last 15 minutes and I'll explain the scenario so that you could go and play with it. The sample questions, I trust you, don't look at the answers, go for it. And the sample questions, I shouldn't share that officially. I'm unofficially going to share that to you in a PDF document as well. If we can print it, and every question go back and say why this is the right answer, why this is the wrong answer, So, help yourself on that. So, and going back here, we know the syllabus areas. Which one comes 12? The first syllabus area has 12. Last syllabus area has 12. In between is 24, 24. The question types here again. Assertion type questions, you're going to have 18 to 28 marks. Hate it or lose it. And I need to get at least 14 out of that. Multiple choice, it's 22. I need to get at least 10 on that. Between matching questions, I need to get 20 on that. So I'm going to score 42 or 45 to clear the exam. That should be your goal. Not like, this is wrong. Why is APMP, account manager shouldn't do. Just stay those things away because all these things are done in a way that, yes, there is a reason APMP syllabus needs to be updated. It's all good, but not for this. Let's focus on this. So, perfect. And again, another important point here is just look at it here. The application of knowledge, which is exactly like Foundation. Georgia passed the exam recently, and Sherka was the topper in our scholarship program. So that was that was on the that's a straightforward application, which means without knowing the question type, if you just study the syllabus, you're going to score 30 marks. This is what I'm telling you. If you know the syllabus area of common sense, you can get it closer. Analysis and application gives you the another 20. That's the question type, understanding the scenario, what we're going to do. And some of the application of the knowledge, like the account manager shouldn't write the executive summary, might pull us back, right? So you need to aim to score the application part close to 25 to 30 mark, and you need to score the next 10 to 15 marks from the analysis part. So incremental, and I'm going to tell you again and again, it's incremental. So that's the second document which I shared with you is what we call exam design. I will send this to you as well. So what I want to share to you now is the actual sample question, which is again, let me do this quickly as well. That was the comment. Thank you. Let me do this quickly as well so that you don't need to rely on just ours. So there is you can download this material, which is APMP OT Practitioner Guide from the APMP portal as well. It's free, it's PDF. You can download this as well. We covered most of it or all of it, but if you want to have just in case the APMP material as well, have this. It also talked about the question type, what you need to do, etc. But again, as you can see, most of it is a bit fluffy, but the real stuff comes later. The syllabus area, question types, and sample scenario, sample questions, etc. I suggest you also look into this. It's in the APMP homepage where you can go for practitioner. You could download this as well. Let this be. Let's not miss out the stuff that's already been shared by APMP as well. So finally, before we close and before I share the information, so what do we have? We have close. Yeah. So now the syllabus area is in our control and the question type is also in our control. So this is how your scenario booklet will be looking, but it's not an actual printed paper. It's actually exam. So I will ask few colleagues to come next week to just spend 15 minutes on that. What happens before the exam and what happens during the exam and stuff. So you can also get that experience of the live exam environment as well. So I'm going to share that with you. Please don't share with anybody. This is just for you and practice it. What we're going to do here is, again, part of the incremental thing is we are going to for many colleagues. Yes, you can do the mock exam in the APMP website, but I want you to familiarize yourself with the scenario. The scenario is saying, you have a provider, Syllabus, who's planning to organize an event exactly like APMP, and they are inviting tender from some companies who can participate on the tender. So, and the companies that are participating, and then they have who the vision are, and et cetera, and the companies who are participating are CSS, and you know what their strengths, how good they are. And CSS is again partnering with a company called Worldwide Travel to make this work. Then you have another company. One of the companies is an incumbent, because I normally don't get too close to the scenario myself, then I'll be telling answers to you. So I normally keep an arm's length here. Then you have another company called ACS. Then you have one more company, I think, let me have a look. Yeah, then we have, okay. In addition to that, you will also be given, yeah, so you have CSS, you have World Travel, and then you have ACS. Those are the three guys. You will also be given additional information after the scenario. I want you to familiarize yourself, be absolutely sure on the scenario, because on the exam day, your scenario will be incrementally different, not exponentially different. Your name of the scenario will be the same. The company still will be Syllabus. CSS, WT, and ACS will still be the same, but there will be some additional information, or there will be some information which will be slightly different. So you should be in a position to separate what I know from the scenario to what's new from the scenario. Why this is important? Because when you read it for the very first time, oh, what's Syllabus again? What's WT again? There is a lot of information to digest. Because A, you need to know the syllabus area, you need to know the scenario, and you need to know the question type. Then you need to work through the clucky system to pass the exam. Yeah, so there are so many moving parts here. So what are we doing here? We are familiarizing ourselves with the syllabus. We are practicing the question types. Then we're also knowing the scenario, again, I'm mentioning, is not going to be exactly the same, but it will be slightly different, incrementally different. So don't just take it on face value, but understand. Again, print it off. If you can have the printer, 64 pages, print it. But if you don't want to, at least print the scenario. And I just want you to understand what these guys are. So on the exam day, you would not be having any papers or anything. Your desk should be empty. Everything is in your mind. So you read the scenario and just take 30 seconds and say, okay, what I know about Syllabus is this. What's different is this. Okay, I got it. I got it in my mind. This is the difference thing. So you're only adding a little bit to your mind, which is different. The rest of it is already ingrained in your brain. So next one is on the ACS, TCS, what's different. But the worst part of the exam is what, like any competitive exam, what they share in the scenario and what they share in the additional information will be different. Very similar to clarification questions that you get from the real tenders. On the real tender, they will say X and Y. Somebody asked a question and they said, yeah, initially it was 25, but now it's 36. And this was our previous technology, but now we have changed our mind. This is our technology. So you also need to be wary of it. Explicitly, we will touch about the exam later, but get used to loading information in your head. That's the thing. So what you'll be getting here is the scenario. What's the tender for, and who are the main competitors, and how is it structured? And you're also going to give enough information on scenario. So your scenario alone is 10 pages, right? And then you're going to have this. They have made it so easy for you. These are the 6 question types. The first syllabus area, planning and management, is 24, split up into 2 12 marks. Development 24, split up into 2 12 marks, and behavior and attitude, this is the 12-mark thing. As I mentioned, aim to get 8 marks here, aim to get, again, 8 marks here, 6 to 8, 6 to 8, 6 to 8, 6 to 8, and here you'll be getting 4 to 6. So if you can balance it somehow. You very quickly in your mind, okay, nothing is going to change. The very first syllabus area will be in the very first part of the question. Behavior and attitude comes to the very end. So if you know already, you will be managing it. So the question type is exactly the same. This is the syllabus area. Oh, good. Question number 1, part A has 3 marks, which means it will have question 1, exactly the question. Then you'll have a different type of a question, matching question, again 1 mark. Then you're just going to go. So read again when you're looking into that, how many marks is there for the syllabus area? And then you just go gradually for those things. Some have more than 1 mark, some have less than 1 mark. I'm going to send this to you to practice even more. So there are 3 things I'll be sending you. One, I'll be sending you the syllabus again. So you're going to mark up your guide so that you can plan it. Number 2, I'll be sending you what we call the exam design document, which is going to reiterate what you should know about the exam, which syllabus area, how many marks, which question type, how many marks, and so and so. Third one I'll be sending you is going to be this sample paper. So next week, Thursday, I think we'll be getting together again. I just want you to do as much work. Practice the question types in the sample scenario, mark as many stuff in the syllabus area. Again, everybody will be doing differently. Most probably, it shouldn't take more than 4 to 5 hours of your time between now and next week. Mark it up. And I just want you to use color pencils, shades, etc. Score it off. Do whatever you like, either digitally or non-digitally. Everything is available. You can share it, score it. Okay. And how quickly am I able to read? In the real exam, you can't. So it says assertion statement, right? And, so which means 2 questions. Next one, the syllabus area is research and management. Okay, got you. It's going to be, and primarily what am I going to opportunity plan? So get into the habit of highlighting and doing few bits. In the real exam means your ability will increase. So the 2, I'll be sending you the sample paper, the exam design document, and also the syllabus part. Play with it and try to complete the sample paper and go back and check every single thing. Every single thing. The good news is, let me share that to you. You have answers at the background. If you take the APMP mock, you will not be having this. Right? So what it helps us is to check why this is correct, why this is wrong, and what's happening. That sort of decoding, first you take up the exam, don't worry whether you scored right or wrong, but go and check why this is right, why this is wrong, and go and write something there and say, oh, this is why it's right or wrong. Get to that habit and do your best to do that next week. Because I just want to accelerate it slightly so that we can talk more about experience rather than do the same questions again. So yeah, that's it. So, and the week after, next week, I'll bring in some of the guests to talk about this. It will be shorter session. We'll talk about this and we'll also talk about experience, how to prepare. And from week 2, which is next week and the week after, I just want you to take the APMP real mock exam in their website so that you'll get a little bit more and you just want to see. So what that meant is, this and you will pass the APMP exam. But what that meant is now I am incrementally getting ready to the real exam. And we all will be taking it end of the month or early next month, something. Let's get it done before Christmas. You should be ready. And if there is any further help, I'll also give the contact details of the colleagues who have passed as well. So you could have one-to-one conversation with them as well, so that you could get a little bit more. Interestingly, most of the colleagues who passed last time are all from the States. So you can pass out with them. So that's it from me. Thanks for joining. And hopefully by the time we catch up, we know who's the president. And
I have a question, Bhaskar. Last meeting, you had mentioned that we needed to sign up for a challenge, but I never did figure out where to do that. I had a note for it and didn't do it because I didn't know where. Where do we go to sign up for the challenge?
Good point. Dick is right there. Dick and I, we run the program. So I'm going to send you, it's called Wow 2K Challenge. And what happens here is every month we have a draw for October. I think it's tomorrow, Nick, Thursday, right? Yeah. Tomorrow we'll be doing the draw for last month's winner. Part of that, we will be giving them one training scholarship and one exam waiver scholarship. Most of you have already got a training scholarship. You can still try, maybe if you want to do capture practitioner scholarship, we will give you capture practitioner. Don't worry.
I'm good.
You can keep learning. You can keep learning. That's fine. And exam draw will happen and we'll announce the result. We'll share the link it will be good for you to part of the Wow 2K challenge as well. Yes, if the lucky angel is smiling at you, why not? Do it. Thank you.
Yeah, I just didn't know where to do it from. I didn't see anything, and I was like, I better ask about that today because I had a note for it. So thank you.
Good. Part of the email, I'll send you the link as well. Perfect.
Thank you.
Any questions, you can send me a note directly or drop me a WhatsApp message or anything like that. We'll just do that. But for now, put your heads down and get towards that 40 mark. That's what I would say. It's now getting close. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for joining, and good luck. And I'll speak to you next week.
Thanks, Bhaskar.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Bhaskar.
It's been very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks.
Bye.
This is great. Thank you, guys.